Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. So, good evening to everyone. So, as Leslie Mahatma just mentioned, so it is morning time in the USA. So, you are kind of 12 hours ahead of me. So, very good evening to all of you. And thank you very much for inviting me. So, special thanks goes to Leslie Mahatma for inviting me. And thank you, everyone, having me giving a Dhamma talk to you today. So I am honored and I am so happy to be here today to share some Dhamma knowledge with you. So listening to Dhamma is a blessing. Actually, according to Mahamangala Sutta, you know the story. There was a deity coming to the Buddha and he was illuminating the whole Jetavana where Buddha was dwelling at the moment, where Buddha lived at the moment. So he came to the Jetavana and asked Buddha a question. So that deity asked the Buddha, so Venerable Sir, we human beings and heavenly beings both together are yearning after good. So we cannot make the demarcation between auspicious things and unauspicious things. So could you please explain us what auspicious things are? So what are they as auspicious things that we can practice in our day-to-day lives? So we are wondering what are they, because there are so many teachers coming to us, especially they come to people and say this is auspicious, this is not auspicious, this is good, this is bad. So people say many things, so we are really in a trouble now understand what auspicious things are. So we are waiting to hear your answer on that question. Then Buddha explained 38 kind of good omens, if you would like to say like that. So auspicious things, blessings, good omens, you can say anything. So among those 38 factors, one is kalena dhamma savana. So listening to the dhamma on due occasions. So that itself a blessings for you. So if you listen to dhamma so often, so that's a blessing for you. That is auspicious. That is a good omen. So this is very good opportunity for you today to listen to some Dhamma. So you have to be very happy. So you are following something, mentioned in Mangala. So you have to be happy that you are here today listening to them. And we are really, happy about Buddhist Mahavihar in Malaysia for conducting this online Dhamma series. So even at a time like this, so this is a pandemic time, so everyone has a rough go of things. Everyone has to worry about many things. Everyone has to take care of themselves more than they did before because it's a hard time. But fortunately, we got a lot of free time. So we can listen to Dhamma. So especially in this crisis time, so it is good to listen to Dhamma. So I really appreciate the service that the Buddhist Mahavihara is doing at the moment. So we have the opportunity to meet even virtually, like we are doing today. So we normally do, Dhamma sermons in person. So this is kind of uh, not very usual thing for us to do Dhamma sermons, online. But it is really good with the modern technology. So you can see us virtually. So we are here today listening to Dhamma. So you are listening to Dhamma from a monk who's living far away from you. So that is kind of advantage of the modern technology. So I have a question when I meet a new audience. So I normally ask this question. So whom or what do you give the highest place in your life? I normally ask this question. So the other days I have to get the answers from you, but today it's not going to work. So I have to answer the question, right? So when I ask that question, I have given Dhamma talks in many places. Then people say, like, immediately people say the most valuable thing, the highest thing in my life is my parents. Okay, that is something I hear from many people. Maybe for some people that may be your wealth, maybe your family, maybe your kids, wife, husband, property. So you might have many different answers, but many people, as I said, they say the most valuable thing, the most important thing in my life is my parents. So that is 100% correct. So if you think about the things that they have done for you, so it is innumerable, it is immeasurable. You cannot measure what your parents have done to you, done for you. Okay, so you can't give a number for the things that they have done for you. So there are so many things they have done for the benefit of you. So they should be put, at the highest place in your life. But as far as the samsaric existence is concerned, so the Buddha said, as far as you this as far as the liberation is concerned, the Buddha said there is something that should be even more than your parents in your life, which is Dhamma. Okay, if you can put Dhamma at the highest place in your life, so that is the best thing, because Dhamma in a way is more important than your parents. I'm not telling that your parents are not important. So you can go home today. I mean, you go home today and you can say to your parents, I listened to a Dhamma talk. The monk was saying that the parents are not important. So there is something more important than parents. So we are going to stop treating you. You cannot do that. Still, the qualities, the virtues of your parents, so that is as it is. Okay, we are not underestimated, but the Dhamma at some point, is more important than your parents, because as far as your sansaric existence is concerned, your parents cannot help you with your liberation. Okay, if you listen to the Dhamma, if you put that Dhamma into practice, whatever the Dhamma you listen to, then only you can cross over the sansaric ocean. At that point, your parents cannot help, otherwise, they do whatever They never mind whatever it is. They do anything for you, for the sake of you. So that's how parents do on us. But in the case of liberation, so at that point, so parent cannot do anything. So we are responsible for our own liberation. So that is why Dhamma is even more important than your parents, because that is the medicine for this sansaric illness. Okay, your parents, your relatives, your friends, no one can give you that medicine. Only Dhamma can cure your illness, which is the existence in this sansaric life, sansaric journey. So, Dhamma vina natti pita cha mata. Then the Buddha said, Dhamma is more helpful than your parents. We are talking about parents because that is in your answer. Okay, your parents are the highest place in your life. So Dhamma is even more important. Why? What's the reason? Tameva tanang saranam patitta. That is where you can find the refuge. That is where you can find the protection. That is where you have the safeguard in this sansaric existence, because you are going to end all this suffering with the help of Dhamma, not with the help of anyone else. So, because it gives you refuge, protection, safeguard, so that is why the Dhamma should be the most important thing in your life. So now we know what is most important in our lives. So Tasmahi Bho Kiccha Manyapahaya, Buddha addresses us in a very friendly way. Bho, my devotional friends, tasmahi, therefore, kichamanya pahaya, having renounced the all other unnecessary stuff that we are doing, that we are working on, that we are practicing. So renounce them, give them up, and sunatha, daret, charat, dhamme, listen to Dhamma. So listening to Dhamma is not only enough. Okay, it is not enough. You have to go forward. So then the next thing is dharit dhamme. So you have to keep in mind, you have to recollect the Dhamma, you have to recall what you listen to again and again. So you don't have to separate Dhamma from your life. You have to live in the Dhamma, you have to live with the Dhamma. So dharet, that is even not enough. So you listen to Dhamma, so you remember what you heard, you recall, you recollect, and there is something else you to do. Charat Dhamme, you have to practice Dhamma. You have to put the Dhamma you listen to, into practice. Otherwise, you cannot get the results. So that is kind of a Dhamma advice for you. So I remember this funny story when I was in Sri Lanka. So there is this thing called Dhamma school on Sundays. Almost every temple has a Dhamma school. Okay, where you teach kids the Dhamma. So it goes from level 1 to level 11, even more than that. So I was invited for a Dhamma talk one day. By a closed temple. So I went there, then I took the seat that was prepared for me on the stage. Then this person, the principal of Dhamma school, so came toward me. He took the microphone. Now he's going to introduce me to the audience. Then after introducing me, so this Bhante is from that temple, so this and that. So he talked about me. He introduced me to the audience. Then he was like, okay, before I hand over the microphone to our venerable sir, I have to give you a dumb advice. So you have to listen to Dhamma, with good attention. Don't listen to Dhamma in a way that, let it end up on your laps. I was like, what he's talking about? So how can you listen to Dhamma in a way that it, end up on your laps? So you can do that. But in the next moment, he said, because if you listen to Dhamma in a way that ends up on your laps, then when you go away, it is gonna fall down. So the same thing I was telling you, a moment ago. So you have to listen to them, you have to recollect, and you have to put it into practice. So it is not you are listening and forgetting it. So the principle of that Dhamma school, put it nicely for the kids. Then I think they understood it, very very nicely. So likewise, we don't have to listen to Dhamma, in a way that it, goes to our laps. Then when we go away after the Dhamma sermon, so it's gonna fall down. So listen to Dhamma carefully with attention. Then only you can recall the correct Dhamma. Otherwise, if you are not paying a good attention, then you have to misunderstand the Dhamma facts. So you have to listen carefully with a good attention and put the Dhamma into practice. That is how it is going to be beneficial for you. Okay, so today's Dhamma sermon, you already know, it is going to be on Mahanidana Sutta. So Mahanidana is the great discourse on origination. Mahanidana Sutta. So origination of what? Origination of suffering. So we are, experiencing, so we encounter a lot of suffering in our life. Okay, so Buddha explains in this Mahanidana Sutta the origination of this whole mass of suffering that we are encountering, that we are facing in this samsaric existence. So I saw that so this is, about Paticcasamuppada, so there is no doubt, right? So I saw a couple of days ago you listened to another Dhamma sermon on Paticcasamuppada, but it is good to listen to the same thing, in, different way. Okay, look at the same thing in different angles. So you are listening to Paticcasamuppada again after a couple of days. So Paticcasamuppada, the meaning of Paticcasamuppada is dependent origination. So some of you may call it causality. So some of you may call it dependent arising. So interdependentness. So there are many words for that anyway. So this theory is one of core teachings of the Buddha. This is like heart of Buddhism. The teachings like Four Noble Truths and dependent origination. So these are, essence of Buddhism, very, fundamental teachings of Buddhism. So you have to be very happy that you are listening to this, deep Dharma today. So there is a very, short formula, very short phrase that the whole Paticcasamuppada is represented. So maybe you might have heard, Asming Sati Idang Hoti, Asming Asati Idang Nahoti, Imassa Uppada Idang Upajjati, Imassa Nirodha Idang Nirujjati. So in that, 4 lines, so the full Paticcasamuppada is there. So when disease that is. When this is not, that is not. So with the arising of this arises. With the cessation of this ceases. Okay, so when you see the praise on the screen, so what do you think? So this talks about interdependence. One is supported by something else. One is conditioned by something else. So everything is supported by something else. Everything is conditioned. Everything has a cause in order for that to arise. So the things are not there independently. So that is what we try to understand through this Mahanidana Sutta. So it teaches us the causes and conditions, roots, or the originations about things that exist in this world. So Paticcasamuppada is about that. So the simple idea you have to get at the moment, everything is interdependent. So everything has a cause. So things are not there, individually, independently. So things are there supported by something else. Things are there conditioned by something. Things are there caused by something. So that is the main idea of Paticca Samuppada. So this Mahanidana Sutta that we are talking about today, so this sutta was delivered to Ananda Hamudru, Venerable Ananda. So Buddha delivered this sutta in Kuru, one of the states in ancient India. So Kurus were kind of famous because they were considered to be very wise. So they were not simple people. They were very wise. So that's why the deep sutras like Satipatthana, the 4 applications of mindfulness, has been delivered to the citizens of Kuru because that's a very deep sutta. Of course, the Dhamma is for the wise, right? So there is a phrase in Pali. So Panyavanta Sayang Dhammo Nayang Dhammo Dupanya. So this Dhamma is for the wise, not for the foolish people. So that's true. But Kurus are wiser among the wise. So that's why these kind of deep suttas Buddha delivered in Kuru. So, of course, in the sutta, Buddha was, directly, addressing Venerable Ananda, but it does not mean that only Venerable Ananda was there. So he was followed by a large number of, audience. So Buddha was addressing a big audience, including Venerable Ananda. So, at that in that gathering, Venerable Ananda comes to the Buddha and say, it is wonderful. It is marvelous how this how profound this Paticcasamuppada is, how deep this Paticcasamuppada is. It is wonderful. It is amazing. It is marvelous how this Paticcasamuppada appears profound. Okay, it is a wonderful thing, but yet, okay, it is of course deep. It is of course profound, but for me, I comprehend it. It appears to me as clear as clear. It appears to me as clear as it can be. Then Buddha was kind of shocked because Venerable Ananda is saying that. So Buddha said, Maya hetang ananda, which don't say like that, Ananda. Don't say Buddha, say it twice. Don't say like that. Indeed, this Paticcasamuppada is deep. It is profound. It appears profound. So this is a very deep thing that you have to understand. It is through not understanding this particular Dhamma called Paticcasamuppada. Because you are not understanding this Paticcasamuppada, because you do not comprehend this Paticcasamuppada, that is why you are in this samsaric existence. Okay, you are tangled like a ball of string. You are covered, as with a blight. So you are tangled like a coarse grass. You are not able to surpass these states of war. War mean W-O-E, the suffering. You cannot surpass because you do not understand this. So you can get rid of this life circle, this birth, and death, aging and death. You are still suffering in this samsaric journey. It is because you do not understand this. Then Buddha now explaining the links of the Paticcasamuppada to the gathering. Then Buddha addresses again Venerable Ananda. So, Ananda, if you are asked by someone, whether the aging and death, chara, marana, aging and death has a condition for its existence. Is there a condition for this aging and death for its existence? Then you should answer yes, there is a condition, it is conditioned. Then if you are asked what is the condition for aging and death, jara and marana, what is the condition for that? Then you have to say the jara marana, aging and death, is conditioned by birth. So this is what. So our topic today, the individual suffering and social suffering. So in the sutta that is not mentioned. Okay, there's not a kind of particular word for individual suffering, but what I call individual suffering, this is the individual suffering. So jara, marana, soka, paridava, dukkha, domanassa, upayasa. So you have all these, mass of suffering. Okay, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, discontent, distress, stress. All this mass suffering is there because of birth. Okay, so we, got birth into this, Manusya Loka, this, sense sphere world, Kama Loka, because we got birth in here, so we have, whole mass of this suffering, beginning from aging and death. So this is the individual suffering. So it is not only this lifespan that we are suffering. We suffered a lot even before. So this is the individual suffering we are talking about. So if you are asked if jara marana, aging and death, has a condition, yes. So aging and death is conditioned by jati, because of jati, because of birth. So this is there. So that is the dependent origination. See, so the aging and death is not there independently. It is supported by birth. Then Buddha asks, Buddha says to Venerable Ananda, if you are asked whether birth is conditioned or not, you have to say, yes, birth is also conditioned. So, what is the cause of birth? So, that is bhava, becoming. So, Bhikkhu Bodhi, who translated almost the whole Sutta Pitaka. So, he says becoming, but venerable monks like Vimalaransi, he says habitual tendency for becoming. And monks like Ajahn Brahm, so he says state of existence. So anyway, you have to understand the idea. So becoming is something, that you do more and more. You practice more and more, maybe good or bad. Okay, so the more you do, the more it becomes a habitual tendency. So that habitual tendency or becoming happens, by itself. There is nothing in your on your part to do at all, because it is, functioning its own. So the things you are doing more and more, maybe you are developing any good deed, or maybe you are developing a bad thing. So that creates your bhava. Okay, bhava is not there. So bhava happens according to what we are doing. So that's the thing. So that's why you can call it habitual tendency, because it becomes a habitual tendency because you are doing it more and more. So, what is the cause for bhava, becoming? That is clinging. We called upadana. Okay, because upadana is there, then we have habitual tendency. Upadana is like fuel. Okay, that you can have, fire with that fuel. So, because of upadana, bhava is there. So, bhava is supported by upadana. Why upadana is there? What is the reason for upadana to be there? It is craving. Okay, because there is craving, so upadana is there. Then now we are going to the root. We are kind of going to the root from the individual suffering, that mass lot of suffering. Now we are going to the kind of beginning. In this Paticcasamuppada, there is no beginning. Okay, there are 12 links, but in this Mahanidana Sutta, we have only 9 links. Okay, it doesn't matter how many links are there, but the thing is, we understand this process. This is a process. You can understand because of this and that is there. So this is a process. So to understand the process, we don't have to necessarily have all the links that is in that major teachings of Paticcasamuppada where you can find elsewhere. But in Mahanidana Sutta, you only have 9 links. So we have to understand the process through using these links. Then, what is the reason for craving? Craving is there because of feeling. Tanha is there because of Vedana. What is the reason for Vedana to be there? Vedana is there because of contact. That is based on our 5 or 6 sensory organs: eye, nose, ear, tongue, body, and mind. So the feelings that we have through our sensory organs conditions tanha. That is the reason for tanha, craving. So what is the reason for this feeling? Then phassa, contact. What is the reason for this contact? It is nama, rupa, mentality, and materiality. So, how can we understand this? Nama, rupa. What is nama, rupa? So, nama, rupa, it seems like there are two things together. So it has its own properties. So in the nama section, you have attention, feeling, contact, volition. So all those properties you have in the nama section. In the rupa section, you have the solidity, patavi, apo, liquidity, tejo, heat, vayo, the air element. So all those are together. Okay, there are many properties, there are many features, there are many signs, there are many indications. So because of that nama rupa, you have phasa, contact. So now you can say you don't have salayatana here, but in that major teachings of Paticcasamuppada, you also have salayatana there, but salayatana is included in nama rupa in this teaching. So you don't have to worry about Salayatana not being here. It doesn't matter. We kind of try to understand the process. So because of Namarupa, we have contact. What is the reason for Namarupa? What is Namarupa supported by? Namarupa is supported by consciousness. Namarupa is supported by consciousness. So there is this, rebirth consciousness. So it is, encountering, it associates with this Namarupa. When a mother and father, when parents get together sexually, so there is a Namarupa functioning there. So with this rebirth consciousness, so it is going to be a new life there, growing up, developing, maturing. Okay, so because of this consciousness, now you have Namarupa. Then Buddha asked, what is the cause for consciousness? Okay, if we go to the major Paticcasamuppada, you can say the reason for consciousness is the formation, sankharas. But here, the very interesting, the condition for consciousness is again Namarupa. Okay, it is interdependent. So there is a simile. There's a simile of the two sheaves of wheat. So you might have seen after the harvest, in order to dry the stalks, then they bind together, and the two sheaves of wheat leaning against each other like this. When you put like this, so it is easy to dry after harvest. Okay, so if you take one out, take one away, the other one is falling over, the other one is falling down. So likewise, Namarupa and Vijnana, they are interdependent. So one is feeding the other one, and the other one is feeding the other one. So likewise, Namarupa is supported by Vijnana, materiality and mentality is supported by consciousness, and consciousness is supported by materiality and mentality. If you take one away, then other one, falls over. So that is the relationship that has. So that is why this is very deep. So when Venerable Ananda said, so it's very clear for me I understand it very well, but Buddha really wants to show Venerable Ananda and the audience how deep this Paticcasamuppada is. So now we talked about Nama Rupa and Vijnana being interdependent. So now we go the other way. Okay, now so far we kind of had a reversal order from the mass, the whole mass of suffering. We came to Vijnana. We began with Jati Jara, aging. We began with Jara and Maran, aging and death. So the cause of aging and death is birth. Cause for birth is becoming, bhava. Cause for bhava is upadana, clinging into things. So for upadana, it was uh, tanha, craving. The cause was craving. And for craving, it is feeling. The cause is feeling. For feeling, it is mentality and materiality. And for mentality and materiality, so the cause is uh, consciousness. Now we are going the other way. So the reason that the condition for materiality and mentality is consciousness. And for materiality, because of materiality and mentality, so the feelings arise. Now from now on, we have a different path. Okay, we talked about the individual suffering so far. Now we are going to talk about the social suffering. Okay, it begins here. So now we came up to feelings, beginning from vijnana, consciousness, mentality, materiality, and feeling. Because of feeling, Vedana arises. Because of feeling, we have, uh, because of mentality and materiality, we have feeling. Because of feeling, then we have craving. Okay, this is the start point of social suffering. So up to Vedana, there is no doer. There is no one doing anything. Okay, that is kind of karmic results, we say. There is no doer. But after feeling, so tanha, this is where we try to take things personally. This is where we kind of engage in the, this is where we both like kind of disturb the process. Okay, we try to say it is me, it is mine, it is my soul. Okay, this is where we start to bother the process. So because of Vedana, we have Tanha. Okay, that is the cause for Tanha. Because of Tanha, then we have Pariyesana. Tanha is craving, so we have craving for things. Now we try to seek because we like it, we want it. This is where we kind of interfere the process. We try to take it personally. There is nothing to take personally. That is absolutely wrong. That is what we are actually doing, even though it is wrong. So we have to see the process and not to take it personally. We have to look at it and understand it. But because of this tanha, now kind of we are dealing with the process. Now we have craving for things because of our sensory experience. Now we have tanha. Because of tanha, we have now kind of seeking. We are like chasing after. Because of seeking, so as a result of seeking, we acquire things. So acquisition is there. Acquisition is supported by seeking. Acquisition is conditioned by seeking. We had tanha, craving, then we looked for something, we, seek, we chase after, then we acquire, then we gain. That is called labha. After gaining, what we do? Hmm? After acquisition, so it is decision making. So it is kind of, judging. How we judge, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is beautiful, this is ugly. Likewise, we judge. So decision making, vinichaya. Vinichayam paticca chandaraga. Then because of this decision making, now it is lustful desire. So lustful desire is conditioned by decision making. Decision making conditions lustful desire. Chandaraga arises because of vinichaya. Okay, because we decided, oh, this is good to have, this is good to go after, this is good to keep with me. I like it, I love it. So lustful desire is there. Because of lustful desire, because of chandaraga, then ajosana is there. Ajosana is attachment. If you have lustful desire, now you attach to something. Because of this attachment, then what arises? Appropriation or possessiveness. Because of attachment, then this appropriation is there. Parigaha. Gaha means to take. So you are taking something completely. Parigaha. So parigha is there. That taking is there because of attachment. So after parigha, what happens? After parigha, then avarice. So you have machari, stinginess. Okay, you like it, you attach to it, you are attached to it, and you don't want to give it away. So macharya, you become kind of stingy. After stinginess, macharyam padicca arakka. So if you have stinginess in you, then you have to defend because you want to protect it, because you took it personally. Now you try to grab it. Now you are saying like it is mine, it is me, there is me in there. Then I have to protect it. I don't want to lose it. I don't want to get rid of it. So what happens? You have to protect, safeguard it. Because of this idea of safeguard, then you have to take up of sticks, swords, weapons, knives, because without taking up of sticks, you cannot, safeguard anything, right? You have to, have weapons to protect something. You have to take up of knives. You are like waiting to kill someone if someone break into your house to steal your possessions. Okay, so because of this danda dana, satta dana, kalaha, vivada, viggaha, twang, pesunya, musavada, aneka papaka, kusala, dhamma, sambhavanti. So because you have to protect something, because you have to protect your possessions, then you have to take up of stakes, weapons, then quarrels, conflicts, disputes, strife, everything, abuse, lying, everything is there. So that is why social suffering is there. We are at war. We are at fight, sometimes within ourselves and sometimes with other people. Why the countries declare war with other countries? Why there is violence against the races, tribes, clans? People are divided. People are separated because this social suffering kind of emerge from oneself. See where it started. It started with Vedana feelings. Then you had craving for things. Because you had craving, then you seek. Because of seeking, you gain. Because of gaining, because of acquisition, then you decide. So it's kind of a decision making, whether it is good or bad, to keep or to remove, to get rid of it. So because of this decision making, so it is chandarag, lustful desire. Because of lustful desire, then you get attached to it. Because of attachment, then there is a stinginess, possessiveness. Because of possessiveness, then you become kind of stingy. You don't want to give it away. You want to keep it forever. You don't want it to change. You want it to be the way you want it to be. You are trying. So that is what happened. This is a process. When you try to you know take it personally, this process, then that is what happened. Then it is very easier to be unhappy, because you want something to be in a particular way, but it never be like that in reality. So it changes. We don't have any control over, because we don't understand that process. So we want to change it. We have the want to grab it. We have the want to change it. Then we wish it to be the way we want it to be, because we add something. We cannot just see, we cannot just look at the process. If you just look at the process, then you can be relaxed. When you say, this is me, this is mine, this is my soul, or this is my life or something, then it starts the whole disappointments, unhappiness, everything, because you are worrying about something. That worry is caused by you. If you just look at the process and took it impersonally, so there is no problem. That is how this social suffering is conditioned. Look at the thing at the end. Because of taking off of stakes and weapons, so people try to steal. Then you have to protect it. You have to safeguard. Even the safeguard is given. Even when the safeguard is given, so people still break into. Then you catch them. Then you question them. Then you punish them. When the punishing is happening, then they lie to you. I didn't take that, I didn't do that. When they lie, when you have like first-hand experience, like seeing what they did, then you said, no, you did it. I saw it. I saw it with my eyes. Then disputes, conflicts, abuse, blaming. So all this. So when you look at the whole the society, when you look at the whole world. So this is the social suffering. Then the Buddha say, if there is nothing to protect, okay, now the cessation part. So far we talked about the arising of stuffs. This is the cessation part, ending of stuff. There is nothing to protect, then you don't have to take up of sticks, weapons. Likewise, if you have nothing to protect, so that conflicts, do not arise. So it goes the other way, the cessation. So that's the whole point of, learning about the dependent origination. So you try to understand that everything arises as a part of process. There is no me there. There's nothing you can say mine there. You just have to look at it and let go of things. If you do not let go of things, then only you start to worry, you start to, think about it. You are with fear of losing something, okay? Then a lot of things happen to you, which is suffering. So for now, that's all I want to talk about. I think uh, we spent more than 1 hour now, so I should let you ask some questions. So I'm gonna stop the Dhamma talk here, and I'll let you ask some questions if you have. Okay, we suffer because of our greed, ignorance, and hatred, but when world leaders who only think of their own interest only make things worse, so how to settle problem like this? Thank you, Venerable Sir. So, yeah, so this is the thing, right? So, all individuals should understand this thing, right? Without understanding the origination of suffering, so no one is going to correct themselves. That this is a very big problem. So, as the Sutta explains, so like every country is at war with another country because they work on their own interest, as you said. So at least from our part, actually, so we have to have acceptance, right? So think a angry person comes to you, okay, then he's blaming, accusing, so he's doing a lot of bad things. When you have the acceptance, so when you take it personally, okay, if you think, oh, he's blaming me, he's not respecting me, he's insulting me, then there is going to be a collision, right? So one part should accept, then other part, is keep doing. When the both parts, both sides, keep doing the same thing, then only the conflicts are there. But unfortunately, in this modern world, so if one country declares war against another country, so that country is also at war with that country. So that's a really big problem. Okay, they are not open to discussion, problems. The only thing they do, because they have power, because they have enough soldiers, they have, modern, weaponaries and everything, then they are at war. So if one side accept, then only we can end. If both the sides are at war, then it is not gonna end. So for this case, actually, so the world leaders, they should have advisors, right? Who knows, these kind of teachings very well. Okay, they have to have good advice on how to, you know, be in harmony with the world. Okay, so that is kind of lack of understanding of dharma. That is why people are at the battle. So I think that helps for a certain point. Okay. The people during the Buddha's time gave up lay life to join the Sangha quite easily. What was it because their good karma promoted them towards that direction? How about us? We are not even near anywhere, you Bhante. Are we very, very far from the ultimate goal of Nibbana? Yeah, this is a good question. So, yeah, so we believe something that, we have to have enough meritorious deeds done in order to attain Nibbana, as you said. So, in order to be born at the Buddha's time, okay, you have to be very fortunate for that, because when you meet the Buddha, so Buddha speaks directly to your problem, then you can solve it. But even for now, actually, we talk about different kind of nibbanas. So there is nibbana called tadanga. So we can liberate ourselves for the moment. When you meditate, what happens? Okay, the thing is, we cannot, like, we are not pushing ourselves to keep doing these things. That's why we are kind of far away from the nibbana. When you meditate, what happens? Whatever the meditation subject you are cultivating, maybe metta, loving kindness, maybe the recollection of the Buddha's quality, buddhanusati, maybe anapanasati. What happens regardless of what meditation subject you select? So when you meditate on something, when you concentrate on something, then you are kind of, living with that meditation subject. You are either spreading loving kindness, you are either focusing on your breath. So if you are with right mindfulness, okay, you have the attention on that meditation subject. So there is no defilements in your, there's no space in your mind for defilements to arise, because you are focusing on breath. You are focusing on loving kindness. You're focusing on the virtues of the Buddha. So even when you meditate on different meditation subjects, so you are experiencing this tadanga nibbana, the nibbana for the moment. So we have to keep doing that, right? So people at the Buddha's time, they were like very committed. You might know, during the first 20 years, Buddha did not enact, Buddha did not formulate any Vinaya rules, because the purpose of people who got ordained to attain Nibbana. But in the course of time, as time went by, then people got ordained for other things. Maybe they get a nice place to live, you know get good food to eat. So because of the labha mahatata, okay, because of benefits, people got ordained. So as time goes, that kind of things happen. So we call it the declining of the dhamma. So that is what happening now. But we can still do the same way those people at the Buddha's time did. Okay, the full time committed to Dhamma and practice. So Nibbana is not any longer, away from us. The thing is, we do not give the priority to Dhamma and practice. So we can attain Nibbana in this very life. We don't have to wait. So I encourage you all to listen to Dharma more and more and put it into practice.
So before we end, we'd like to invite Bante to transfer the merits and share the merits with the devas as well as all the departed beings. Bante, would you kindly?
Okay, sure. So then let us transfer merits to departed relatives and the deities. So all the deities and departed relatives, may they rejoice in meritorious deeds that we, meritorious power that we just acquired by doing this uh, Dharma talk. So you listen to Dhamma, we preach Dhamma. So by all the good actions we did, we created a power, meritorious power. So all the deities and the departed relatives rejoice in these merits that we transfer to them. Akasattha cha Bhummattha Devanaga Mahiddhika Punyantam Anumoditva Chiran Rakhantu Loka Sasanang Akasattha cha Bhummattha Devanaga Mahiddhika Punyantam Anumoditva Chiran Rakhantu Desanang Akasattha cha Bhummattha Devanaga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumoditva Chiran Rakhantu Tvang Sada Idam me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo Idam me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo Idam me nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. May you all be deeply well and happy in your capacity. Triple bless you.